The Chancellor, George Osborne, says the government is looking for new ways to curb benefits that can be claimed by migrants to Britain. His comments followed those by the German government that it will not agree to scrap the principle of freedom of movement in Europe, even if Britain demands it as part of a renegotiation. Our political editor, Nick Robinson, has more.
Can the government, any government, limit the number of immigrants coming to these shores without leaving the EU, or at least tearing up one of its founding principles, the freedom of movement of people? That's the question ministers are struggling to find an answer to.
What we're going to address is this question of how the freedom of movement operates in the 21st century. You know, it was never envisaged that you would have such large numbers of people coming who don't have job offers, people who move on to our benefit system.
Limiting benefits paid to migrants may pass the Merkel test, but the Prime Minister's been left in absolutely no doubt that capping the number of migrants would not be acceptable to the German Chancellor. It would be forbidden under EU laws, and her spokesman says that is not going to change.
She has made it very clear that the fight against possible abuse of free movement is of legitimate interest for us in Germany as well. It's an interest we share, but the higher principle of free movement in general should not be meddled with. We view that as an important European achievement.
Many who have come here from Europe in recent years insist they came here for jobs and not for handouts.
When I came, I didn't know anything about the benefits, anything. When my son came here, the school told me you should be applying for free meal, and I didn't know that.
The benefits we pay here are worth so much more back home. So yes, I've had stories where families have been leaving their children behind, coming over here and then sending the child benefit back.
It's the benefits you can get whilst being in work, which ministers were today urged to curb.
You can have access to in-work tax credits, child tax credits, and potentially things like housing benefit and income support and so on. And I think that the difference there that makes is that obviously it acts potentially as a subsidy for people to come and do very low-skilled and low-income work.
Here's why the Tories need to think of something. At the last election, their manifesto pledged to reduce net migration to less than 100,000 people a year. But last year, 243,000 more people came to Britain than left. And here's another reason.
Which way we're going? That way?
Down the High Street, down.
Right.
The polls suggest the Conservatives may be heading for another by-election defeat here in Rochester in Kent, thanks to you-know-who loves to talk about you-know-what.
Mr Cameron will try and fiddle around at the edges. What he will not be able to do is to change the basic principle that nearly 500 million people, if they want, can come to this country. That isn't going to change. He'll fiddle around the edges and actually finish up satisfying neither side.
It is, of course, not just immigration that's causing tension between London and Brussels. There's the small matter of the £1.7 billion extra that Britain owes, and the interest if we refuse to pay it.
Well, rather than fines, I would say that if payment is not made by 1st December, there is a process of interest being accumulated.
Today, the EU Commission said that would cost us £3.5 million every month. David Cameron is rocking the EU's boat at the moment, so much so that some fellow European leaders wonder if it'll all end with Britain falling out. Nick Robinson, BBC News, Westminster.